happening, people? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday, man. How are you lot doing? How is everyone doing? Are you lot having a good day? What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been eating? What gifts have you guys got? Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. I've not seen a Mo Salah post about Christmas. Crazy times. It's probably going to come at some point during the day. I don't know why people obsess over it every year. I just don't get it. I've seen people like on Twitter saying, "Oh my god," people are posting like videos of them refreshing his Instagram. I'm like, is that the best that you got today? Is that the best? Is that the best? But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. Let me know what you guys are up to today, first and foremost. Have you guys eaten? If not, when are you guys going to eat? Because I know, people that celebrate, Christmas. It's all about the food and the family and all of that kind of stuff. Let me know what gifts you guys got. And if you're not celebrating Christmas and today is just another day like me, I hope you are having a good Wednesday. What have I been doing so far today? You know what I like, guys? Everywhere is just quiet on Christmas. Everybody's indoors. That's what I love. It's just like I could go outside if I wanted to for a walk and the streets are empty. What else do I like? I like the fact that everybody is off work. So if, people want to gather, if I want to go see family, I can because everybody's, free and available. And I like the fact that there's just always stuff to watch. Like there's no football, which is sad, but there's a lot of football tomorrow. But there's a lot of football content that has dropped today on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have realized, but there's a lot of football content that has dropped on YouTube. I was watching the FCM court on DR Sports, funniest thing ever. And then I was watching the Big Fat Quiz on James Alcott's channel as well. So I definitely recommend you lot to check that out if you're looking for some football content because you're missing the football. But also there's NBA today, there's NFL today as well. So there's a lot of sports outside of football today to indulge in. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Big up Tywin says 1 year in, how much or how effective has INEOS actually been? Because I don't know. That's one of the topics of discussion that we're going to talk about today. Yesterday was exactly the 1 year anniversary that it was announced that INEOS were successful with their bid for Manchester United. So we're going to kind of talk about the ins and the outs. We're going to talk about Jim Ratcliffe. We're going to talk about Dan Ashworth. Of course, we're going to talk about Ruben Amorim. And a fun fact, guys, reportedly, it was decided when INEOS gave Erik ten Hag his new contract that they were going to get rid of him. Do you know how outrageous that is when I read that? They gave him a new contract, but in the back of their mind, they're like, you know what? I'm still going to sack him. I don't know. That's a bit weird. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Napoli reportedly monitoring Joshua Zirkzee. And it's not just Joshua Zirkzee. Reportedly, they're monitoring Marcus Rashford. Manchester United are monitoring Victor Osimhen. But I think for some reason, guys, I just don't see someone coming in January. I don't see it happening. Out of curiosity, did you see Swedish Rumble's breakdown of our PSR spending? No, I haven't. I haven't been on Twitter. Big up Good Vibes. John says, big up Mina. Big up, bro. Hope you are doing well. Yusuf says, Zirkzee is 100% leaving. Why 100%? What makes you think 100% that he's going to be leaving? But actually, let's get into it. Let's actually get into it. Is anyone monitoring Rasmus? I don't think so. You lot know by now, I love a good Athletic article in it. I love a good Athletic article. One thing that the Athletic does, they stay giving us breakdown pieces. What I want is the content that I want to read. I don't want to read about Marcus Rashford for the 50,000th time this week. I want to read pieces like this. And of course, I can always count on the Athletic to come through with a deep dive into INEOS's 1 year spell at Manchester United thus far. Now, there's quite a few points. That they've identified in the piece. Number one, there's expected a fear of further job cuts at Manchester United. Approvals, and I don't even know why. I'm actually interested as to why this information is being shared to us. It's a great breakdown. Can't lie, Mina, worth a read. You know what? I might bring it up on the screen after this. Because I actually haven't had the chance to read it. But there has been approvals to sign off anything costing more than £25,000 must go above the CEO of Manchester United. Imagine £25,000, guys, in the corporate world that I know of. a £25,000 sign off, or anything above a £25,000 sign off, could definitely go to the CEO. But Manchester United or INEOS are so money tight that any approval for anything more than £25,000 has to go above the CEO. For me, that's ridiculous. I can't lie. Why are you a CEO? Why are you a CEO in that case? But of course, I can't dictate to INEOS how they choose to run their business. Reportedly, and this was what I kind of looked at a bit sideways, reportedly, Jim Ratcliffe proposed to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos to help pay for the new Manchester United stadium that he wants to build. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and Elon Musk, obviously the owner of Twitter, Tesla. Elon Musk is, I can't talk too much in it. I can't talk too much about my opinion on Elon Musk. But if you are quoting Elon Musk to give you money, I'm looking at you sideways. I am looking at you sideways. Now, of course, they want to. I think the stadium is expected to cost a billion, more than £1 billion. So, of course, he has to go out and try to figure out who can give him this money. He's already courting the British government. He's rubbing shoulders with Keir Starmer and saying, listen, you guys help me regenerate the Old Trafford area. I will create jobs for the Manchester United locals. But they're also saying, I need to chat to Elon Musk. Like, Elon, bro, come on. Like, out of all the billionaires that you want to talk to help you build the stadium, Elon Musk is the hill you want to die on. But yeah, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, two people that Jim Ratcliffe reportedly proposed the idea to. The club are looking at a significant hike in ticket prices, potentially. They've had ambassador cuts as well within the club, including David Gill, who was the former chief exec, obviously, of Manchester United, and he was on a £1 million per year retainer, guys. Imagine that. Do you know how I would love to have been in the world of football and have like a level of status at a football club? Because you're telling me I've retired, yeah, after making bank for like 10-15 years working at the club. I'm now retired and I'm getting £1 million a year as a retainer fee just for my ambassador position. Clearly INEOS have come in and, everyone is kicking up a fuss about, the job cuts and, the cuts to the stewards and the costs that are impacting the everyday people of Manchester. But clearly INEOS are looking at other parts of the business and identifying or trying to identify places to cut costs. Now, this is, for me, the most interesting part. You lot know, you know what? Let me actually bring it up on here. Because this is a long article, by the way. This is an actual long article. Shout out. I don't have a picture of him, but shout out to Bruno Fernandes, guys. Shout out to Bruno Fernandes, because when it was announced that Manchester United were going to cut the costs for the FA Cup final for staff, Bruno Fernandes was so taken aback that he went to the INEOS regime, if you want to call it, or the executives of the club, and offered to pay for all of the costs that they were cutting regarding the FA Cup final for staff at the club. And Manchester United executives rejected it. What was happening? Well, number one, no free tickets for employees of Manchester United, no travel, no food, no accommodation. Staff had to pay £20. Well, they got a ticket, but they had to pay for their own coach. They had to pay for their own, if they were staying the night, they had to pay for, hotel, etc. Manchester United did not cover any of that cost, not at all. The reason why Manchester United actually rejected Bruno's offer is because they knew it would look bad on them. I don't know how much it would have cost, guys. I don't know how much it would have cost. But what I do know is big up to Riri with the super chat. Says happy holidays to Minna and all the minions. Big up, sis, man. I'm looking forward to seeing on your Instagram what you're eating in it. I can't lie. I'm looking forward to it. So make sure you send me some pics. I love when it's holidays and that, and people share their foods and all of that. Because when it's Eid, I like to post my food and what I'm eating and that. So I stay looking at people's Insta stories just to be like, oh, what gifts did you get? Ooh, what food are you eating? Big up to Riri with the big super chat, man. Big super chat. I appreciate it, sis. I hope you are doing well. And New Year's is actually coming up as well. So I think I might have to do a stream on New Year's. I think I might have to do it. But Manchester United, like I said, was so taken aback by Bruno's offer that they rejected it. They rejected it. Surprise, surprise. What else has Manchester United cut? They are cutting the funding to their disabled supporters group. You know what I realized, guys? INEOS are just looking at every possible way to cut costs. INEOS are just trying to find any type of way to cut costs. But yeah, like I said, there's still some debate regarding Manchester United's funding to other associations at the club, including Manchester United's Players Association, and they cut the costs for the disabled supporters group by 50%. The annual funding was £40,000 for the year. They cut it to £20,000. I'm not being funny, guys. I'm not being, and I mean this in the nicest way, but £40,000 is chump change to Manchester United. It will take them what? They've saved 20,000 a year because they've cut the costs, that the funding costs for the disabled supporters group. 20,000 they've saved for the year. How many years will it take for them to regain the money that they paid Eric Ten Hag to leave Man United? Was that 14 million? You lot do the maths. 20,000 over how many years? How long does it take you to get to 14 million? That is chump change to Manchester United. And it's also chump change to Jim Ratcliffe. Let's keep it real. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo, been a member for 12 months. Big up, man. Says, like it out, people. Strong side-eye to the INEOS. I've been side-eyeing them. I'm sure a lot of people have been side-eyeing them as well. But I think people are side-eyeing them for different reasons. I think some people are looking at the Marcus Rashford situation or the Jadon Sancho situation. They're side-eyeing. Some people who are Eric Ten Hag fans, they're looking at INEOS and side-eyeing INEOS because they let Eric Ten Hag go. People who are anti-Eric Ten Hag, they're side-eyeing. Everybody that I've had a conversation with about INEOS is side-eyeing INEOS for different reasons. And I think that also kind of shows the level of what we're working with right now. I saw people gassing up that, where is it? Here it is. I saw people gassing up that Sir Jim Ratcliffe invested, what was it? He put another 70 or so million back into the club recently. Yeah. But that was part of the 300 million that he agreed to invest in the club. It takes his share percentage to 28.94. But I said this a year ago. I said this a year ago, and I'm going to say it again. Anybody that gives INEOS, anyone that gives the Glazers a lifeline to stay at the club, for me, it's not a business situation. Simple as that. Because it's going to be 20 years of Glazers ownership next year. And you gave the Glazers a lifeline. Okay, maybe, we don't know whether the Glazers fully intended to sell. I don't think we'll ever really know. I think the Glazers were fully holding out for that big payout from Qatar and Al Thani. I think they were expecting that they can, get, extort 6 billion, I think it was, that they were asking for. They wanted Man United to be the biggest sports club to be sold ever. And I think the Denver Broncos held the record for that. But anyone that gives the Glazers a lifeline after watching what they've done to Manchester United for the last 18, 19 years, for me, you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. Whether it's 20, what was it? I think I can't remember what Nuruddin calls them, quarter sexuals or something like that. They only earn 28%. Excuse me. Al Thani's offered the money in full, but the Glazers wanted more. I think the Glazers saw, the money that the state of Qatar is working with. Sheikh Jassim, he's coming from the Al Thani family, bro. They got money. So I think the Glazers thought that they could get whatever price, $7, $8, $9 billion, whatever it is that they were asking for. Qatar were never going to pay that. And also, I think another thing that they didn't want is, if you don't remember, part of the kind of agreement of what Qatar was offering was to pay off the debt as part of the price of the club that they're going to pay for. I don't think the Glazers wanted that. I think they wanted the debt thing completely separate. They don't care. The Glazers do not care at all. But this is my favorite part, guys, because I was laughing about it before, so I'm going to laugh about it again. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. In a private meeting, Ratcliffe reportedly brought up the prospect of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos providing funds as a kind of private finance situation to build the stadium. Sources suggest that Ratcliffe felt either of them might be tempted due to the appeal of Manchester United. Musk's net worth is mad, bro. 486 billion as of 2024. And Jeff Bezos is just about half of that with 246 billion. How could you have so much money? How can your net worth be that much? Like, you could buy the world and still have some money left. Like, how is there? I sometimes, guys, this is a sidetrack, but sometimes I'm just like, are there people out there that are that rich? It's ridiculous. How's your net worth $486 billion? That's more than some countries' GDP. That's more than, multiple countries' GDP combined. But that kind of blows my mind. But on top of that, it is suggested that it seems inevitable that supporters of Manchester United will go on to foot some of the bill for this new stadium. And like I said, that is coming from all these kind of cost-cutting that they're trying to do, but also ticket prices. I mean, who the hell wants to pay £66? Yeah, I mean this in the nicest way, guys. And you lot might not agree with me, but there is no reason for over 65s and under 16s to be paying the same price for tickets as everyone else. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm all for younger people having subsidized tickets, and I'm all for older people, pensioners, to have subsidized tickets. I'm all for that. But the fact that Jim Ratcliffe can sit on national television and say that the ticket prices in Fulham, which, by the way, are being protested by Fulham fans, he said on TV, live, I think it was on BBC, he said on a BBC interview that there's no reason why ticket prices for Manchester United should be cheaper than Fulham, because Man United is a bigger club. First and foremost, I don't even agree with £66 for a football ticket for Fulham, let alone for Manchester United. But if you just compare, like I say, the house prices of living in the borough of Fulham and living in Manchester, or the average salary in Manchester in comparison to the average salary of people that live in Fulham, it's night and day. There is no reason why a ticket price. I don't know why Jim Ratcliffe felt like it's appropriate to compare ticket prices of other clubs. What are you going to do now? Turn around and say, oh, Manchester City's ticket prices are X amount. It shouldn't be. Manchester United should, with their tickets, should be more expensive because we're a bigger club. That's stupidity. And then to try and justify that by saying that there's no concessions for over 65s and under 16s, that's ridiculous. Look how he speaks about the women's team and what he's doing to staff, mate. He doesn't care. But you know what, guys? I said this from May. I went to the Women's FA Cup final in May, yeah? Man United women versus Spurs. Second final in a row that Manchester United got to, and they were predicted to win. They were the favourites going into that. That same day, it was Arsenal versus Manchester United at Old Trafford. I think it was like the third or fourth to last game of the season. There's nothing in it for Manchester United, that Arsenal game. There was nothing in it. Jim Ratcliffe did not attend the women's final. And I said that on that day, I said that speaks volume, because this Glazer guy, the one with the little ponytail on the back of his head, he came and he also went to the final before that. But Jim Ratcliffe made a stance by attending the men's game, which is perfectly understandable, but not even congratulating the women's team, wishing them luck, none of that stuff. And the reasoning for him, reportedly, Manchester United's, it was reported after that the reason why he didn't attend the women's final was because he was hosting Keir Starmer at Old Trafford. And this is when Keir Starmer was the leader of the opposition of the government before he became Prime Minister. And obviously he's lobbying him, if he becomes Prime Minister, to help with something of the regeneration costs that he's trying to do with Manchester United. And for me, that set a bad precedent. I know a lot of women's fans that are not happy with it. They're not happy with the way that Jim Ratcliffe speaks regularly about the women's team in the media. Essentially, I think Jim Ratcliffe should just say outright, verbatim, I don't care about the women's team, because everything he's saying kind of points in that direction already. And I also see the argument of people saying, well, the men's team is the more profitable team. It brings in more revenue, etc. It does not take a lot to run a women's team. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea had new ownership come in. They had a structure before that supported, I guess, the women's team. Todd Bowley came in and made the women's team their own entity, hired their own people to work on it, and that's it. Just report to me when you need. Oh, you guys need to buy people? Okay, cool. You've hired the right staff to trust them to do their job. Whereas Jim Ratcliffe is the complete opposite. I promise you guys, I have a feeling that the Man United women's team will be run into the ground by INEOS. The Glazers brought Manchester United and got rid of the women's team. INEOS will be the final nail in the coffin for Manchester United women, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, I've had enough. I've had enough talking about Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS. But quickly, before we kind of wrap it up and we get on to like the fun part of football talk, out of 10, what are we rating INEOS's first year? What we rating INEOS's first year? And we're taking in consideration, by the way, everything. There's a lot to take into consideration. We're taking into consideration the transfer window, how they handled the Erik ten Hag situation, how they handled the Ruben Amorim situation, the Dan Ashworth situation, the cuts, the cuts to multiple different stuff. I didn't even speak about the cuts to the Christmas parties. Apparently, by the way, they're saving 250k by cancelling the Christmas party. I need to know what Christmas party costs 250k. That's what I need to know. Manchester United, clearly INEOS are briefing media and their journalists and saying, oh, it costs 250k. That's why we cancelled the Christmas party. Unless you're having a Christmas party on the flipping moon, there is no way that costs 250k. There is absolutely no way. But anyways, taking into consideration everything from when they've come in, once it was ratified, once they started appointing Omar Barada, appointing Dan Ashworth, Wilcox, etc. What are we rating them? I'm giving them a 3 at best. At best, I think I'm giving INEOS a 3 1 year in, because I look at, for me, the biggest howler of it all is that you give Erik ten Hag an extension with the intention to sack him. That is stupidity. I don't care what anyone says. That's stupidity. Maybe there's some things we may not know. We might not be privy to knowing. But this was reported, by the way, I think it was in the Telegraph, that when they gave him the new contract, they were planning to sack him anyway. It's just that the manager that they wanted wasn't available at the time. What about the transfer solely? Let me see what everyone's saying first. 2, 6. Riri being generous. It's really the season for giving, isn't it, Riri? Because you're being generous. Danny says 5. Ridwan says 4. 0.05. Damn, not even a 1. Not even a whole number. 3. 2 for keeping Ten Hag. 0. 2.1. Damn. All right. What about transfers only? But that's just the summer transfer window. That's just the summer transfer window. I think for the summer transfer window, we have to look at it at the end of the season, after having like one whole year to assess it, or one whole season to assess it. I would give them a 3, taking into consideration everything. Taking into consideration the 10. For me, I think they made a mess of 2 situations. Two situations that they made a mess of is the Dan Ashworth one and the Erik ten Hag one. That is a mess. £66 for a kid ticket is borderline war crime. It's ridiculous. £66 is ridiculous for people won't be able to afford to take their kids to games. Pensioners won't be afford to renew their tickets. Like they won't be able to do it. Then suddenly, what are you saying? Manchester United is becoming a stadium for the rich and the well-off. When you have to pay £66 every time I see the tickets, guys, and I want to get it, I'm just like, £66. Depends if they follow through with the stadium. So far, it's a 5 for addressing the need for a new stadium. 5 is, I think you lot are being generous, I really think you lot are being generous. Because we're taking into consideration everything. Like, for me, keeping a manager with the sole intention to sack him, you've wasted 3 months of the season. Manchester United, by the way, for the first time in a long time. I think it's nearly 40 years. They are sitting in the bottom half of the table going into the Christmas period. We might go into the new year sitting in the bottom half of the table. And it's not even the nice part of the bottom half, like 10. 10 is a nice part of the bottom half. At least you're getting closer to the top half. We're 13th. We're nearly bang in the middle of the bottom half of the table. And it's okay because INEOS are trying to fix it with Ruben Amorim, who you decided to keep Erik ten Hag, wasted 3 months of the season, and then hung him out to dry. I feel like that for me is shocking. With us, we're sitting there with Everton. I'm giving it a 4, honestly. Yeah, I think 4 is reasonable. I think 4 is a reasonable, is a reasonable rating to give them so far. I'll go with that. Should we talk some transfer news, guys? Or should we talk about Ruben Amorim? Let's talk Ruben Amorim's comments ahead of the Wolves game tomorrow. I love Boxing Day, guys. I love Boxing Day football because I can just sit on my sofa and just watch football. From 12:30 until about 9 p.m, I can just watch football. Like, there's nothing better than that. And by the way, that's after today when I'm just going to sit and watch NBA and NFL. Then tomorrow, I'm just going to watch football. My family are having a family gathering tomorrow, guys. Fun fact. They're going somewhere for my nephew's birthday. I said to them, sorry, guys, Man United are playing. Imagine that. And then I'm going to sit here after the game and probably complain to you guys about the fact that I chose to watch Manchester United instead of doing something for my nephew's birthday. It happens. It happens. But I like Boxing Day football. Outside of Manchester United, guys, I like Boxing Day football because it's just football on from 12 all the way until 9 p.m. But Ruben Amorim obviously leading up to the Wolves game tomorrow. By the way, it's not going to be easy. And people are talking about new manager bounce, for Wolves. It's not even about the new manager bounce that scares me. You know the Wolves players, they seem to have hated each other under Gary O'Neill. I don't know if you guys knew, but they were fighting after games. I'm still surprised that Kuna hasn't been banned. I was hoping coming into this United game, he'd be suspended for at least 7 games or something. But I think the bigger threat is not new manager bounce. I think the bigger threat is the players might actually like each other now under the new manager. Maybe they hated each other because of Gary O'Neill. I mean, Gary O'Neill was practically slagging them off in his interviews and in press conferences and whatnot. People are talking about new manager bounce. I'm thinking, what if these players actually like each other now and they actually might perform well together? That is a bigger threat. And Ruben Amorim kind of alluded to this idea or this notion in his press conferences, talking about the biggest struggle, which is fitness. It's not that the players are unfit. Is that Manchester United don't have the opportunity to kind of play consistently because we're playing so many matches. And when you're playing a lot of matches, there's less training time, more recovery time. Players can't get the opportunity to get up their match fitness consistently, which is why we're seeing rotated lineups. And that's why, Riri, I don't know what the lineup will be because it's very unpredictable right now under Ruben Amorim. I think the only consistencies are maybe Onana, maybe Lissandro Martinez. I think Mazraoui is a consistency. I'd like to see Lenny Yoro. I'd like to see Lenny Yoro. Ugarte is another consistent. Bruno Fernandes is another consistent. Everywhere else, I think there's question marks. Striker, the midfield partner next to Ugarte. All of that is question marks. And we're going to talk about it when we talk about transfers. But I don't know if you guys realize, but Casemiro is being shifted out of Manchester United. I don't know. I just realized the other day, I tweeted it saying, oh my God, I just noticed that I tweeted saying I just noticed that Casemiro hasn't played. He has not played much for Manchester United. Man United are reportedly looking as well to sell him, but we're going to come to that when we talk about the transfer window or when we talk about transfer stuff. But Ruben Amorim did his press conference leading up to the game. He spoke about quite a few stuff, but of course the biggest kind of topic of discussion still is Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is still the top, and this is why I just want this situation with Marcus Rashford to end. I really just want it to end because Ruben Amorim cannot go a press conference before a game without having 2 to 3 questions asked about Marcus Rashford. He was asked if this Marcus Rashford situation is becoming a distraction. And he said, I don't think so, not for me and not for the players, because everybody is here every day during training and they understand the key points. For the media and all the other people, I cannot control that, but I'm really focused. So he's not a distraction for us. Maybe he's a distraction for the media. I think he's talking about all these media guys going ballistic about this whole Marcus Rashford thing. He then asked about whether we'll see Marcus Rashford again. He said, Marcus wants to play, but it's my decision, only my decision. And I kind of feel like that reiterates the idea that, because I've seen people suggesting, look at INEOS, they're trying to get rid of the higher earners in the club. You know, they got rid of Raphael Varane, they got rid of Anthony Martial. They're now, you know, pushing Marcus Rashford out. They're trying to push Casemiro out. Next, they might turn on Bruno Fernandes. But Amorim is kind of, I think, downplaying that and saying, no, these decisions are mine. These decisions are mine. We're going to talk about the Wolves game towards the end of the stream as well. But let's talk transfers, seeing as we're about halfway through the stream. We've got over 100 people here and not even 100 likes, guys. That means there's a lot of freeloaders in the chat. You know the rules, guys. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, you say hi to everyone in the community, and then you hit the like button and you get involved in the conversation, in the debates. Keep it PG, of course. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the ever-growing channel, and you can support me as well. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. You can do that. But if you want to do something simple and you want to do something free, just hit the like button because it really, really helps. A name that's popped up, guys, and I was really hoping it doesn't, because we were linked to Kolo Muani the summer that we brought Rasmus Højlund. The summer we brought Rasmus Højlund, we were linked to Kolo Muani. He was actually at Frankfurt that summer. Kolo Muani, watching him at PSG, and I've watched him a bit at PSG, I feel like he's really struggled as a number 9. And I've never really seen him as a proper number 9. He's always, to me, I've seen him as like an inside forward, maybe behind a striker. They had Gonzalo Ramos as well. They used to alternate. Now he's going through a lot. He's going through a lot right now at PSG because it's become clear to Kolo Muani that he is not in Luis Enrique's plan, and it is 100% likely that he will leave PSG in the January transfer window. Ideally, it would be a loan with an obligation to buy. Currently, it's a very, by the way, this is coming from Florian Plettenberg, so let me say who the source is. Florian Plettenberg was reporting this today, actually, saying that there is a strong chance that he will move to the Premier League. Liverpool have gathered some information on him, but nothing further. Manchester United are monitoring the situation, as is Tottenham and RB Leipzig. However, it's very unlikely that Manchester United do not make any move, not just Kolo Muani. Florian Plettenberg is saying Manchester United do not currently expect any transfer to happen in January. PSG, yeah, they paid a shit ton of money for Kolo Muani. And you know what PSG is, what I realized? PSG is one of them teams. After a year, bro, look, they got rid of Agate after one season. They don't mess about. One thing about Nasser Al-Khalifi, he don't mess about. You ain't working in the team. You ain't working. The manager don't like you. You got to go. But I have my thoughts on Luis Enrique. I can't lie. He's on fraud watch. Luis Enrique, for me, as a club manager, especially at PSG, he's on fraud watch. Manchester United, we're going to keep an eye on this Kolo Muani situation. But I want to know, would you guys take Kolo Muani? For me, it just depends on what price. I feel like a lot of people's opinion on Kolo Muani is haunted on that miss in the World Cup final. I liked Kolo Muani at Frankfurt. I think I could even find videos I probably did the summer that we brought Rasmus Højlund, where I said that I wouldn't mind Man United going for Kolo Muani at a reasonable price. But I think Frankfurt had a crazy price tag on him that summer. But Kolo Muani, for me, is not a number 9 per se. I feel like Man United need to just go. Like, I say this all the time, guys, but I watch Isak and I feel jealous. I feel jealous when I watch Isak, when I watch Newcastle, and I get to see what, even Solanke, the type of striker he is. Manchester United need the crop of strikers that come from that kind of school of thought, the Solankis and the Isaks, etc. Kolo Muani for me would not be an answer for what United are struggling with at number 9. Plus the price tag, plus another, I don't want to say a PSG reject, but he's struggled at PSG. How you struggle if you're struggling in the French league, which for me, when it comes to physicality level, I feel like French league and it can playing in the French league, if you can physically handle it, it can translate to the Premier League. We've seen multiple players do that. Onana, Kamara, Baliba, etc. We've seen so many players do that, but I don't think Man United need a Kolo Muani, in my honest opinion. I'd take Watkins from Villa if possible. I've seen there's a little situation right now with Watkins and Aston Villa. I don't know if you guys know that, but there's a little situation because obviously John Duran he started 3 games in a row, and he's feeling a bit nervous. Ollie Watkins is feeling a bit threatened. I wouldn't be surprised if Villa look to move Ollie Watkins on in the summer, and John Duran becomes their starting striker. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. Duran is elite, bro. He is. I don't know what he is. I don't want to say he reminds me of Adriano, but he reminds me of Adriano. If you grew up watching Adriano, that's what mine is, like the shot power and whatnot. Even he's got levels to his shot power. He reminds me of a baby Adriano. That might be a bit blasphemous. I can't lie. That might be a bit blasphemous. Sorry, guys. If you don't agree with me, I do apologize. If you don't agree with me. I totally apologize. But yeah, quickly on Kolo Muani before we move on. Yes or no? Loan with an obligation to buy? Yes or no? Would you guys take him? Bear in mind, we've already got Zirkzee and Højlund. I don't think he's a step above them. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't think he is what Man United need as a striker. I do not think Kolo Muani is what Manchester United need as a striker. And not one bit. I wasn't really keen on him back 2 years ago coming from Frankfurt, and I liked him at Frankfurt. Do we have the P's for Randall? Well, PSG reportedly, according to Florian Plettenberg, PSG are reportedly looking for a loan with an obligation to buy. Now, what that obligation to buy, that's a different story, because if they can snatch 50-60 million off us for Ugarte, they may be able to snatch that for Kolo Muani as well. I want an experienced goal scorer. Same. By the way, no one has said yes. I don't think I've seen anyone say yes. I'd rather sign Delap. Delap is a baller, though. Liam Delap is a baller. I think Liam Delap will be England's starting striker at the next World Cup. That's another hot take. Let's talk fullbacks. Let's talk left wing backs. Adriano, more like Baby Hulk. Baby Hulk ain't bad. Nah. Actually, that's a violation. That's disrespecting Duran by calling him Baby Hulk. I can't lie. That's disrespectful, man. Maybe I'm being too nice with the Baby Adriano shout. Maybe I'm being too nice. Let's talk left wing backs, guys. Let's talk left wing backs, because it sounds like, I don't know, if United was to sign a player in January, it might be a left wing back, guys. It really might be a left wing back. Ahmad better wing back. I have a hot take about Ahmad. I can't lie. I have a little bit of a hot take about Ahmad at right wing back. I think that Manchester United's wing back play has decreased since Ahmad stopped playing right wing back. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I feel like Man United don't progress the ball well enough from the wide channels. I don't think the link-up play is good enough in the wide channels. The ability to get the ball forward and cause a threat, I don't think has been as explosive as it was when Ahmad was playing at right wing back, which is why I'm like, I understand why Ruben Amorim was doing that. And I think Ahmad has been a bit in and out playing in the 10. I think his best performances have come him playing right wing back, whether it was Europa League, whether it was Premier League. I think some of his best performances in terms of chance creations has been coming from when he was playing at right wing back. So I don't know. But let's talk left wing backs. Let's talk left wing backs, because a name that's popped back up is only United, by the way, that will sell a player to bring them back less than a season and a bit later. Only United will do that. But it's being reported that Manchester United are fairly confident in signing a left back early in the January transfer window. There's quite a few names that have popped up. Quite a few names. I'm going to bring them up on the screen throughout this kind of segment where we talk about the left wing backs. But number one is our very own Alvaro Fernandez. That is our very, very own. Sold him to just get him back potentially on a buyback clause. I think the buyback clause is 20 million euros, which is not bad. It's not bad. I actually want to see how he's doing. I know stats isn't the end all be all for players, but I just want to see statistically how he's doing this season. In the Portuguese league, he's got 2 goals and 1 assist in 14 appearances in the league. So that's one name that's popped up. That's one name. Another name that's popped up is Girona's Miguel Gutierrez. That's another name that's popped up. And another name, oh shit, I just clicked off it by accident. Oops. Another name that has also popped up on top of that is, oh my God, I can't even get it. I can get this picture open, man. What the hell? Another name that's popped up is Theo Hernandez. Not for January, but I think more so as a summer target. AC Milan reportedly value him at around 40 million. But this is the name I'm happy about. This is the name that I want to see. This is the player that I want at Old Trafford, guys. I want Milos Kerkez. Fabrizio Romano reporting last night that Manchester United are more of a concrete destination for Milos Kerkez than Liverpool. By the way, it's not just Man United that are in for fullbacks, I think, in January or maybe in the summer. I think there's going to be quite a few teams looking for fullbacks. So United need to get their business done, and they need to get it done quick. As simple as that. Milos Kerkez, I like. I like what he offers, what he brings to the table. The kind of... I also like his temperament. I really, really like Robinson as well at Fulham. That's another player that I like. He was looking ass against us. I think he did a good job shutting Amad Diallo out the game. I don't know. Watching that game, I felt like he made a good... He made good of the situations that he found himself with Amad Diallo. Not that I should be saying that he played good, because I would never want a player to lock up my player, but he forced Amad Diallo to come central. I don't know if you guys realized throughout that Bournemouth game, Amad Diallo really struggled in the wide channels or drifting out wide because Bruno on the other side was drifting out to the left-hand side. Amad was coming central a lot. Kerkez was doing a man-to-man mark, man-to-man marking system. He was following Amad everywhere, which was probably it was probably instructed. It was probably instructed. And then there's other left backs, by the way. Like I said, Robinson, there's Nouri. Like if Wolves go down, yeah, there's a lot of players I think that other clubs can look at and kind of nab from Wolves. I don't know why, as Manchester United fans, we kind of turn our noses up at signing players that get relegated or something. Signing players from maybe the Championship even. I don't know why we do that. If Wolves get relegated, there's players that are there to be taken. Southampton, I wouldn't. Maybe Diblin. If Everton get relegated, I don't know about Brant. You don't know my stance on Jared Brantwaite. But there's a lot of players out there, like I said, at Wolves. Nouri being one of them. If they go down, Manchester United can look at that as an option if Kerkez is an expensive target. Let me see how much actually they I want to see how much Bournemouth bought Kerkez for. Schlotterbeck over Brantwaite. I don't think that would be a hot take, Bournemouth brought Kerkez last year, 2023, for 18 million euros from AZ Alkmaar. Are you telling me Erik ten Hag had all that experience in the French league and he had in the Dutch league, and he didn't think of the idea of signing Kerkez from AZ Alkmaar? Instead, that year, who did we? No, we didn't. We signed Malacia the season before that. from Feyenoord. We signed him this year. We signed that the season before. What relevance does Kerkez locking up Ahmad have in this conversation? We're looking for an attacking wing back, and y'all are using man marking as your metric. Typical United fans. Robert, my friend, do you want a fullback that can't defend? You just want a fullback that can attack? Then you go sign a winger. United should sign a winger in that case. United need to find a balance on both sides of attacking and defensive attributes. You can't just sign someone that flourishes in attacking and is ass defending. And you can't sign someone who's amazing at defending but cannot do anything going forward. You have to find a good balance. This guy, you should get timed out for this. You should get timed out for this. Hear me out. Ashley Young is a shout. Yeah, you should. We should time you out. We should time you out for that. Because that's mad. That's mad. Mina, as a fellow African myself, don't you worry about having our key players go for AFCON. Ain't Nori would be good, but that would be him, Maz, Ahmad, and Nana. I will be 100% honest. I think representing your country is probably one of the highest honors. I would not be worried if the club can appropriately plan for it. They should go and represent AFCON. For me, it's wild when people say, "Oh, this person shouldn't be going to AFCON. They shouldn't be going to AFCON." La la. Like, for me, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's just unfortunate that AFCON is like in the middle of the season. I actually think the next AFCON is going to be end of December, right? It's going to be like end of December. The next AFCON, this time next year. Playing for your national team is one of the highest honors as a sportsman, as an athlete. That's one of the highest of being able to represent your country. So they should be able to be doing it with pride and with honor, and the club should support them. The best way that the club can support these players to represent their national team is by appropriately planning for their absence. That's it. That's what the club should do. It shouldn't be on the player to decide, oh, if I leave in, mid-December or end of December, I'm going to miss 7 Premier League games or 6 Premier League games and a Carabao. And that shouldn't be the worry of the player, because, a club that is well run should be like, you know what, you should go. I know Liverpool fans always talk about Salah going on AFCON, and they struggled, I think, because they had Salah and Mane that used to go at the same time. So that's 2 of your attacking wingers that are scoring you goals leaving at the same time. And those were national teams that tended, I think, at that time, Senegal was making it far in the competition. Egypt were making it far, etc. I'm not saying that these man's countries are going to like crash out of the group stage or whatever, but it's the highest honor. So we should support it. And we should, if anything, it should put pressure on, the club to appropriately plan for their absence. If Mazraoui's leaving, we should have a player of the same kind of caliber that can perform to that level, that can replace him for a bit. Same with Onana, same with maybe Ain't Nori if we were to sign Ain't Nori, etc. I actually think it's kind of wrong to look at a player and be like, oh, they're African, they might go AFCON, we shouldn't sign them. I think that's wrong. That should not be a reason to put you off signing a player. But just on the topic of Africans and African players, Victor Osimhen. Someone told me I was pronouncing his name wrong. When is Somalia going to make it at AFCON, Mina? I hope at some point during my lifetime. I hope at some point during my lifetime I can watch them play in AFCON. But yeah, a Nigerian person told me I was pronouncing Osimhen's name wrong, and a lot of people do it. If you're guilty of it, welcome to the same boat that I'm in, because I've been saying Osimhen all this time, and somebody said to me it's not Osimhen because there's no S and H, it's Osimhen, Osimhen. So why is it when I'm watching like Sky Sports and that everyone's saying Osimhen? Everybody is saying Victor Osimhen, Victor Osimhen, Victor Osimhen. I've been bamboozled. I've been hoodwinked. I've been deceived. My Nigerian people, I'm sorry for pronouncing his name wrong. From now on, I'm going to be saying Osimhen. Osimhen. Yeah. Osimhen. Anyways, on the topic of Osimhen, Manchester United could sign him. It's a could. And this is, again, I don't know how people look at him and think Man United don't need him. I don't know how, honestly, guys, I don't know how people are looking at Osimhen thinking Man United do not need a player like Osimhen right now. He's got good movement in and out of the box, physical, strong, can strike a ball, can win a ball, he can win a header. Osimhen being able to win a header should be enough of a reason for us to sign him. Yeah, honestly, my checklist is simple. Can you hold the ball at your feet? Yes. Does it bounce off your shin? No. Can you win aerial duels? Yes. Put the contract in front of his face. Put the contract in for me. That's just simple. I think, and I've seen people talking about XG. Oh, he scored this many goals, off of this much XG. Is this what? I can't believe this is the world that football has become. I can't believe that this is the world that football has become. But reportedly, and this is coming from Graham Bailey, so we're gonna take it with a pinch of salt, guys. We're gonna take it with a pinch of salt. Napoli admire Marcus Rashford and are open to a player swap deal for Victor Osimhen. One thing I know for sure is Victor Osimhen will leave Galatasaray at the end of the season. I think we know that for a fact. It's more about what's the destination that he goes to, or what club does he go to, etc., etc. Come on. Mina, did you forget his AFCON showing? I'd rather stick with Højlund. This is like me saying, Super Scud, I respect your opinion, by the way, but this is like me saying, did you see Rasmus in the Euros? I'd rather stick with Zirkzee. Like, come on. Like, this is what we're judging players, because there's other players that don't really... He was not good in AFCON, but that doesn't, I think, take away... I don't think that should be the be-all and end-all. Because let's be honest, guys, and shout out to everyone from Africa, because you guys know this. People from Africa, and if you watch AFCON, the best of ballers can come from Europe and play at AFCON, and they will get batted up by a random person that plays in the local league. Like, it's just, there's no science behind AFCON. I don't know if you lot realize, but players who play in Europe don't really go to AFCON and ball out. They don't. Because there's no science behind the explanation of players performing at AFCON. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Alhamdulillah. It should be a privilege. He can jump, he can finish, and he was having problems in AFCON. Yeah, I think AFCON is not the benchmark for us to be judging players. I think, firstly, he led Napoli to their first title in how many years? How many years? Then he got his big payout or his fat contract, whatever it was. He should have left for me. I said Osimhen should have left in that year that he won the title with Napoli. He should have left after that, but he chose to stay. If we're gonna judge him off of playing football, let's do it off of a collective number of years. Why are we looking at 1 month of competition football? I'm sorry, but that doesn't. If that's the judgment for Osimhen, and that's the benchmark that we're holding him to. Justin says it here. Salah does nothing at AFCON, yet he's killing it in the UK and Europe. There you go. AFCON is not the benchmark to be criticizing or judging players off of, in my opinion. Osimhen's off the pitch is a problem, though, and you lot don't need problems. What kind of problem is he? What kind of problem is he off the pitch? I'm just curious. But it's reported that Manchester United are still in the market for a prolific goal scorer. The club have inquired about Victor Osimhen's situation many times, both in summer, January 2023 and summer. Personal terms will not be an issue, and Osimhen's agent is expected to offer him around to multiple clubs in January because they want him to leave Galatasaray. I think he just ended up, by the way, at Galatasaray because of circumstances, personally. I think it was because he was getting frozen out of the Napoli team after him and his agent did a madness that summer. So they had to go and find a new destination. And Chelsea, I think, fell through. Galatasaray was one of those last-minute situations, not far from Italy, and it still keeps you within the kind of eye line of European football. That's the same as me inquiring about Beyonce, Vida. Nah, Victor Osimhen ain't the Beyonce of football. He's not the Beyonce of football. We're going to come back to Victor Osimhen. Just on Marcus Rashford quickly, because he's another name that we're seeing being touted around a lot, right? Ducker from the Telegraph said that Marcus Rashford wants to leave Manchester United. I don't know if I'm not going to say it's confirmed he wants to leave. This whole situation with Marcus Rashford, guys, I'm so over it. And you lot are going to say, how are you over it, Mina, but you still talk about it? I can still talk about it. Because a part of me is very sad. Not very sad. Let me not say very. Let me not exaggerate. I'm a little bit sad about the way that this Marcus Rashford thing has turned out to be. But I said before he actually got his contract, I said that Marcus Rashford, United should have moved him on. Then in the summer, I said that again, Man United should look to move Marcus Rashford on. And I always kind of said it will be between Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. One of them will leave Manchester United. I don't see, disappointed is the word you're looking for, Mina. Yeah, I would say disappointed. I'm disappointed with him. I'm saying this like I know him on a personal basis. Yeah, I'm disappointed with him. But I'm disappointed with that interview because I think there's a time and place. Like I said this time and time again, like I wouldn't want to be in a dressing room with a guy that's publicly saying I want a new challenge. Like Leacher probably is this close to probably banging him up and not in the changing rooms at Carrington. But I also think, guys, it's very telling the fact that he's not been in the matchday squad. Like the other day was the first sighting that we had of him at like being in Manchester United colours, and that was him at Old Trafford watching the game. So do you know how toxic the situation has to be that you are not even injured and you can't even make the matchday squad? I think for me that shows Ruben Amorim is not happy with him, because to be left out of the matchday squad for one game is one thing, but consecutive games, I can't remember the last time the guy started a Premier League game. Was Everton? Was it Everton the last time that he started a Premier League game under Ruben Amorim? And he scored 2. I think that actually might be the last game that we've seen him start, because I think he's been on the bench. He was on the bench for the Arsenal game, etc., etc. And then to not even make the squad at all 25 days ago. 25 days is a lot. That's nearly a month. Good maths. But that's nearly a month. It's very unfortunate the way this has died out. But I don't like the fact, can I just say on the Rashford thing, I do not like the fact that it seems like a lot of United's potential transfer movements in January is riding on the idea of Marcus Rashford leaving Manchester United. I get it. Financially, Man United are in a position where they might not actually be able to afford to buy someone. Getting Marcus Rashford's wages off the book, maybe Casemiro, another player who's quietly being phased out of the team. I don't know if you lot realize, Casemiro is quietly being phased out of the team to a point where he's only played under Amorim. He's only started under Amorim in Europa League games. He hasn't played a Premier League game. I think the last 4 Premier League games he hasn't played for United. He has not started. He's not been off the bench. He's just around. The fact that he can make it into the matchday squad and Marcus Rashford can't, for me, shows that there is a fine line for Ruben Amorim, and Marcus Rashford has completely stepped over it. Reality is Rashford's current situation is because of 2 reasons. First, his profile doesn't suit Ruben's state, and financial reasons. His wages itself will save nearly 14 million. Do you think... I think there's a lot of players at United, especially in the front line. I'm going to say it in the front line. I think there's quite a few players from previous managers that don't fit Ruben Amorim. I don't think Garnacho fits Ruben Amorim's system. Like, I really do not think it fits Ruben Amorim's system. For me, I've said this all the time. Garnacho is a wide player. And in a system where the widest players are the fullbacks, you can't. I don't think you can turn Garnacho into a wing back at the moment. And when I have seen Garnacho playing as the inside 10 on the left, he drifts out left a lot, which means United have like a bit of a overload on the left-hand side and barely anyone behind the striker making a run into the box, making a late run into the box, etc. So it tends to be the number 9, whether it's Højlund, whether it's Zirkzee, it tends to be that person by themselves in the box with 5 players around them. because Garnacho is drifting out wide. And that's no criticism on Garnacho, by the way. I just think that that's his style of play. And there is nothing wrong with saying that a particular footballer's style of play or what they're comfortable in or where they excel in doesn't match the system. For me, like, it's as simple as that. There's nothing sad about that. He should have been sold when Rangnick played Alanga over him. Is that a hot take? Is that a hot take? I don't know. I don't know. Just on the topic of Garnacho as well, sources say, this is coming from Steve Bates, again, take it with a pinch of salt, but he was a former chief football writer. Sources say that Garnacho is still stung about Ruben Amorim's decision to exclude him from the squad against Manchester City. Amorim and his coaches see a huge potential in Garnacho, but believe his temperament and application is more volatile than Ahmad, who is seen as a grounded youngster hungry to learn. Why are we pitting our players against each other? I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I do feel sometimes like we should not be pitting our players against each other, even though, by the way, this is not a big deal. It's just saying that Ahmad is more humble or more grounded, more hungry to learn, etc., than Garnacho. That's whatever in it. But I feel like this plays in the public eye as Ahmad versus Ghana kind of thing. And there's already fans already kind of being on one side. Like, for me, football, it blows my mind sometimes. Like, I've never seen this concept of you either support one player or the other player. Why can't you support both? Why can't you support both? Big up to Sully with the super chat, says, I said it when Amorim arrived the end of Ghana. Is that a bad thing though? Like, genuinely speaking, is that a bad thing? To say that a player, like, because the time that United brought Garnacho, when was that? 2019, I think it was. The summer that we brought him, you know, I don't think Man United knew where they would be in 4 years' time. I don't think there was much, like, there wasn't. I don't think Man United knew that 4 years from the time that they brought Garnacho, that we would be on another manager who has completely changed the style in which Manchester United are playing in. I don't think that would have been known. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if Garnacho doesn't fit Amorim, because when United brought him, they brought him for 2 reasons. A, because they wanted to develop him into a young player, like from the academy, develop him into a first team player, and then become, you know, part of the first team. Or B, develop him and get him into the first team and eventually sell him. Man United don't buy young players, guys, with the intention of making all of them bringing them all into the first team. Football doesn't work like that, by the way. Football don't work like that. Not everyone's going to make it to the first team, and it's unfortunate for him. I liked Garnacho. I remember his first season, man. He was fearless. Garnacho in his first season was fearless, bro. Coming on against Fulham to score the winner at Craven Cottage. I remember I was at the FA Cup final in Erik ten Hag's first season, and he came off the bench and everyone was on their feet because when he had the ball, it just felt electric. It felt like he would do something. That season, when I feel like your breakout year, even like look at Kobe last season, every time a player has a breakout year, their first year in the first team, and they kind of like hit the ground running, they play with zero fear. And when you play with zero fear, you don't fear the opponent, you don't fear the crowd, you don't fear the moment, you don't fear the match, you don't fear nothing. And that's what Garnacho had. And then his second season, how many games in a row did he play under Erik ten Hag? So I can't even remember how many games. It was definitely more than 40 games that he played under Erik ten Hag. His hamstring might have fallen off. It might have fallen off if he kept playing so much. And he also played across, you know, the right, the left, etc., etc. Garnacho doesn't fit in the system. He's no inside 10, no wing back, no striker, and he's not good enough. Anyway, I think it was harsh to say he's not good enough. I think Garnacho's good. I just think he's not made for any of the positions that are available. And it's not just him. It's not just him. Minna, this sounds like a Januzaj 2.0 again. I've seen a lot of people kind of allude to that idea that this sounds like a... I liked Adnan Januzaj as well. Guys, I'm being dead ass. I am being so dead ass. I really liked Adnan Januzaj when he was at United. But he was another player who, as a young player, I think we overhyped him. I think we overhyped him as a young player. Another young player that I'm not gonna say we've overhyped, but another young player, Harry Amas, has been linked to a move to Aston Villa. Listen, Aston Villa, we'll give you Harry Amas. You guys give us Morgan Rogers. Or give us Duran. Or give me Kamara or give me Onana. Give me one of your first team players and we'll call it a day. I know it's likely to not happen, by the way. But Aston Villa are interested in Harry Amas. I think he'll leave. Big up to Ismail, been a member for 3 months, says, because the manager says now with no requirement, just play. He has requirements to hit this year, goal and assist. I think this is in reference to Garnacho. Big up to him. Big up Mina, big up Sefo, says, Amorim needs time and resources to succeed. It's crazy what I see about this is game 10. Going into the Wolves game is game 10 for Ruben Amorim. And the things that I'm seeing is madness. Sam Murray can play wingback. We have a good product. Why is Sam Murray not part of the training with the first team, guys? Out of curiosity, does anyone know? Because I watched him. I watched him in pre-season and I thought he was quite good. I actually quite liked what I saw from. I thought Sam Murray was more of a complete left back than Harry Amas was. If I'm being honest, he's only played 2 games, by the way, for the under-21s this season. He's played 1 game at centre-back against West Ham and then at left-back against Southampton. Both wins. I don't know if he was out. No, he wasn't out injured. He was just not in the squad for the last 8 or so under-21s game. But we've got to keep an eye on the Harry Amas situation. And last but not least, I thought we saw the last of this guy, but we haven't. I thought that was it. But we're back. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has already warned Amorim that Manchester United don't have a bottomless pit. Nobody asks for a bottomless pit of money, first and foremost. But he's warned Amorim that Manchester United do not have a bottomless pit of money with PSR targets on the limit. The Portuguese coach will have to largely work with what he's got. The January market has yet been declared off limits, but Amorim knows unless he can make a compelling case, it's very unlikely that they will sign anyone. And he'll have to wait until summer for his own reinforcements. Big up to Ismail with the super chat, says, blessings. Big up, bro, man. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. But there you have it. Jim Ratcliffe is telling the manager, listen, you got to make do with what you got. We ain't got money. How? I just don't get, man. I get PSR. Let me play devil's advocate. I understand the PSR obligations, right? For Manchester United or just in football. But man, oh man, Jim Ratcliffe likes to remind everyone that United got no money. For someone that said, oh, I'm going to take over the club, I'm going to invest. You put 300 million USD into it to pay off what? Debts? 79 million of it was debt, I think. Some of it was going into Carrington. This guy loves to be telling people he ain't got money. What is your net worth? I need to know what his net worth is. Because his net worth ain't even okay, hold on. I was gonna say his net worth is not a lot. It is a lot because I don't have this money at my disposal. But in terms of what Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and them man earn, his net worth is 15 billion USD. In May 2018, Ratcliffe was the richest person in the UK at that time, with a £21 billion net worth. Big up to Ahmed with the super chat, says, this girl, Mina, big up, bro. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Nah, Lil Yo-Yo, I'm laughing in it because I just saw Elon Musk and I saw Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk's net worth is 400 billion. 400 billion, bro. I don't even know how many zeros that is. And this guy with his little 15 billion what's it called, net worth, that's kind of funny. Minna, even you gave him a chance. Now let's all regret. I said I would judge INEOS after their 1 year. I always said I would judge them off their 1 year. When they came in, I said they haven't given me a reason not to kind of back them, but I'm not going to back them blindlessly. And I've always said that, and I will always stand by that. I will not back INEOS blindly. I won't back Jim Ratcliffe blindly when I care about the men's team, but I equally care about the women's team, and I'm seeing what he's doing with the women's team. Like, American businesses are wild, very little regulation. That's true. But this guy lives in Monaco. He don't be paying taxes. Last but not least, let's quickly touch on this. I wanted to touch on this point earlier, but this is a good one to kind of end with. We had this debate on KG's channel the other day as well, on the Sleeping Giants podcast. Ruben Amorim has a 2.5-year contract, yeah? Do you guys think Ruben Amorim is going to win United a title, or will he be the guy that gets us closer to winning the title? If Etihad sponsors Man City, then why doesn't INEOS? Listen. Do you know how many UAE, United Arab Emirates companies sponsor Manchester City? That's all I have to say. Etihad sponsor them. Etisalat sponsors them. There's so many of their sponsors come from Abu Dhabi-owned businesses. That's all I have to say. But just on Ruben Amorim, and I don't understand, by the way, guys, how the reactiveness, I'm calling it reactiveness because it definitely feels like that. 9 games in. I'm seeing people, and listen, I always want to hear about people's opinions, but I'm seeing people saying, this back three is not going to work. This back five is not going to work. What is it, firstly? Is it back three or is it back five? Number one. Number two, go back to 4-3-3. Go back to 4-2-3-1. Here you go. Shadow says it. He will not win a title with his way of playing. Is that in reference to the back three or the back five? Do you think that kind of football is not sustainable in the Premier League, or can't be done, can't be completed, in the Premier League? Because the way that football has evolved in the Premier League, especially with the Pep Guardiola, what he's done, over the last couple of years with this inverted nonsense, yeah, most teams are playing back threes. You just don't see it, or you do see it, and you're looking at the formation or the lineup on a paper, and you're seeing it's a back four, but people are playing back threes because they're inverting fullbacks. And you're just not. We were playing a back three under Erik ten Hag. On paper, it wasn't a back three, but in your eyesight, it was a back three. So I'm always curious to know why people after 9 games are writing Ruben Amorim off. For me, this time next year, we just have to be in a better situation. Like I said, going into the new year potentially in the bottom half of the table for the first time in how long? Nearly 40 years. More than that, maybe. We're in the bottom half of. Do you know how, bro? I saw a picture of the table this morning, and I just closed Twitter. Because I was like, this is actually depressing. 22 points after how many games in the season is actually quite depressing. Is this how Chelsea fans felt in their first year of the Todd Boehly era? I don't know. If you're a Chelsea fan, let me know. But for me, this time next year, we have to be in a better position. We have to be in a better position. If you're telling me if there's a possibility that this time next year we are in the same position, then there's a problem. No tactic or playing style is the right one. Perfect. The best tactic is the one who can get the 3 points 1 match at a time. So me here is saying it's not about the tactics. It's just about getting the three points. Back three will work with the way fullbacks work. And if your midfield does not have the best, Premier League is much different than other softer leagues. I actually agree. I actually think one of the important parts of Amorim's game, or Amorim's kind of like style, we could talk about the fullbacks, we could talk about the striker. Nobody talks about the ball carriers in the middle. That's what United lack big time. United lack ball carriers right now. Bring me Believer from Brighton. I don't care. He's going to cost an arm and a leg. He will cost an arm and a leg. These fans who are worried about the way we should play, or the way we play, should know that this isn't his squad. Be ready to suffer. He said it after what? 2 games? He said it after 2 games. The storm is coming. He said there's gonna be a storm, right? That is what he, if I remember, that is what he said. After, I think it was, I can't remember what game it was. I can't remember what game it was. He said that. But I agreed with him. Everybody keeps talking about Qatar. Where is this news about Qatar? Where is this news about Qatar? Have I missed it? I don't be looking at the news, guys, when I'm on stream. If you can link me to it, Mike Keegan, that guy, doesn't he have Christmas to go spend with his family, bro? And he's here doing Qatar prop. All right. I can't see anything, guys. I'm on his Twitter, but I can't see anything. You're telling me I have to go on the Daily Mail? Oh, sorry. Super Arch. Sorry. I hate going on the Daily Mail, man. Guys, I don't like giving them clicks. I do not like giving them clicks. And I have to turn off my ad blocker. Are you taking the mic? Oh, I shouldn't have said that on stream, that I got an ad blocker on. Oops. Yeah, aggregator accounts, they're busy, you know, it's Christmas. They're busy. Oh man, this website is horrible. Let me go to Premier League. Let me go to Manchester United. I can't see. Oh, here it is. But guys, they got this behind a what's it called? A paywall. Daily Mail, you think I'm gonna pay $1.99? I would pay $1.99 to not pay $1.99. How about that? Sorry guys, I'm not covering it. They put it behind a paywall. Let me see the aggregators. Hold on. Shout out to my boy. What's his name? Shout out to Frank. Shout out Amorim's error on Twitter, because I know he's posting his dinner. What? All these aggregator accounts, man. Come on, guys. Everyone's just posting their dinner or their lunch. Sorry. Let me. Maybe someone's posting it on Twitter. Let me type in Sheikh Jassim. Come on, let's go. Okay, so reportedly Sheikh Jassim aimed to fix Manchester United in 3 days. It's called Project Ruby. Yeah, we got there in the end, guys. We got there in the end. Project Ruby could provide INEOS a way out of the chaos, allowing them to take a step away without further damage and let Sheikh Jassim take over from the Glazers. So essentially, what this sounds like is Sheikh Jassim's interest comes from taking over from the Glazers, but still letting INEOS have their share in everything. This sounds nice on paper, but the one thing that I will say about, you know, I don't know how you lot feel about the Qatar thing. I don't know how you lot feel about it, but I just feel like every time stories pop up again about like Sheikh Jassim, and it's just like we're being told what could have been, like this is what you could have had. I don't want to hear it. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. If Qatar are gonna come and take over from the Glazers, do it. Just do it. But I don't think, personally, INEOS, Jim Ratcliffe is happy to get into bed with the Glazers. He ain't getting into bed with the Qataris. He ain't doing that. He ain't doing that. He's a businessman. Jim Ratcliffe ain't doing this for the love of football. I don't think so. Anyway, in my opinion, he's not doing it for the love of football. He's doing it for the love of business, for the love of revenue. You guys genuinely think, by the way, guys, just the summary of that Project Ruby, it's to give the INEOS a lifeline by coming in and taking over from the Glazers, but INEOS still have their kind of positions. So they stay as minority owners, 28%, whatever, and the rest is owned by Qatar. You guys genuinely think Jim Ratcliffe would ever do that? Genuinely. The guy who said, let's make Manchester again, or whatever the nonsense he was. That story's been behind a paid firewall for weeks, by the way. I never knew that. Did they just like update it and put it out as a new piece? It seems like that. Regardless, I think INEOS will fix things. It'll just take much, much longer based on 1 year, though, the fact that a lot of people are not happy with what INEOS have done in the year, I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot. It will take long, and INEOS have to undo 19 years worth of Glazer's kind of work. But if you're going off of 1 year, Mino, what will he do with all the money at 75, brother? I don't know. I don't know. Just because he's 75, he can't enjoy his money. He can. I don't know. What do people do with money at that age, and that much money? That's the question. Qatar wanted to clear the debt. They did. But they also wanted to, and I think this is why I said it at the beginning of the stream. I think that the Glazers didn't accept their bid because the entire package that they were offering was $6 billion, but that included the money that they were going to pay the debt with. That weren't lying in the pockets of the Glazers. So the Glazers were not going to, they were not going to accept that. Minos sources, it was just reported at the time. The Glazers found that Jim Ratcliffe's offer was a lot more attractive financially and long term. Because let's be honest, guys, someone's coming to you today, Someone's coming to you today and is saying, how much did he spend? How much did Jim Ratcliffe spend on Manchester United? How much did Jim Ratcliffe pay for Manchester United? 1.3 billion pounds, to buy a 27% stake. So you sold a 27% stake of your club for nearly 1.5 billion pounds. On top of that, you get to stay as a majority owner, which means you still get your shares, your dividends, etc. So you're still lining your own pockets, and you're no longer the face of the football for the club, i.e. the footballing decisions. No more. People aren't going to be chanting Glazers out anymore at games. Do people chant Glazers out? The Glazers made the best decision for themselves that will keep them still making money, and they don't have to bear the burden of what was Manchester United, because to them it was a burden. They didn't know how to run a football club. They appointed the wrong people as CEOs, etc., spending money left, right, center, and just no interest in the club. So now they've taken themselves away from the limelight, but guess what? Jim Ratcliffe is still lining their pockets for them. So of course that offer was more attractive to them than what Qatar were offering. Qatar was offering 6 billion USD, which is what I think around the price of what they valued the club at. But that 6 billion included the money for the debt that they were going to pay, for refurnishing Carrington, and it was only like 4.5 billion, which was what was for the club, i.e. what they were going to pay to buy the club. The rest was all of their investments. Do you think the Glazers care about investment? They care about the money that's going into their pockets. And that's why I said at the time, Jim Ratcliffe gave them the best offer. Like, simple as that. It was an offer that they simply couldn't refuse. But just quickly before we wrap it up, guys, make sure you hit the like button if you haven't. You know the rules, man. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and then you hit the like button. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. You can do that as well. And if you want to do something simple, we're on the road to 10K, hoping to get there in the next 2 months. So make sure you guys hit the like button and do subscribe if you are new here. But quickly before we wrap it up, United take on Wolves tomorrow away. The game is on Amazon Prime, if any of you guys are wondering. The game will be on Amazon Prime at 5:30 p.m. What are we saying, guys? Predictions. Away at the Molineux. I can never pronounce that. Molineux. The Molineux Stadium. Away. Sorry, Wolves are at home. Yeah, we're away. Injuries are Mason Mount, number 1. Victor Lindelof, Luke Shaw, Matthias de Ligt is doubtful. We will know on the day if he will be part of the match day squad. No update on kind of Marcus Rashford, whether he will be there. He'll be available. I'm going 2-0 United. You guys, someone said Wolves 2-1. Manager bounce 2-1 Wolves. Yo-Yo says 2-1 United. I'm going 2-0 United. Away from home. to a shaken kind of Wolves. I'm saying shaken because sometimes I feel like the players hate each other this season. My worry is it's not just Kounha. Kounha is not my only worry. João Gomez is another worry for me. The midfield battle is kind of where the game will be won, I think. If Ugarte and Maino are playing in the midfield, they need to track runners. That's it. They need to track runners. By the way, they play a very similar formation to Manchester United. They play a very similar formation. I just want to see a good performance, like an all-round performance. Like, one thing I haven't seen under Ruben Amorim yet is a consistent 90 minutes. That's it. I don't know. I don't know if you guys feel like you've seen it, but I don't feel like I've seen it yet. I haven't seen a consistent 90 minutes or a consistent kind of 70 minutes of good football, dominant football. I mean this in the nicest kind of possible way. Wolves are in a relegation battle. And you guys can make the jokes that United are in a relegation battle. They're not. They're not in a relegation battle. Wolves are in a relegation battle. They will be up for it. Because Leicester City, the Wolves, by the way, are sitting 18th in the league on 12 points. Ipswich are on 12 points as well. Leicester are sitting in 17th place and they go away tomorrow to Liverpool. So if Wolves win and Leicester lose, which is probably likely with the way that Leicester have been getting spanked, they could go above them, which it will be a big game for them. And one thing I realized, by the way, guys, is Manchester opponents, when it comes to playing Man United, they just seem up for it. I'm traumatized from Nottingham Forest last season. Morgan Gibbs coming to Old Trafford saying they don't want this. Look at them, they're scared. I'm still triggered by that. But looking in and around, what Manchester United are in 13th place. West Ham are playing Southampton. Newcastle are playing Villa. Chelsea playing Fulham. There's a lot of games on, and there's games on Friday as well. I think there's about, what is this, 8 games that are on tomorrow, and some of them will impact United. So Man United need to do their best thing and just win. But for me, it's also a win in a respectable manner. You're going to a team who's 18th in the league. We should not be kind of making ourselves smaller because of the opponent, if you know what I mean. But I'm equally saying that, and United have not been a big opponent for a long time. Will Casemiro start? I very much doubt it. Casemiro has not started outside of Europa League games. So he hasn't played outside of Europa League under Ruben Amorim. He hasn't played at all, I think, for the last 4 or 5 Premier League games. He hasn't even come off the bench. And then we go to Newcastle on Monday. Boy, that's a scary one. Oh my God. Newcastle is a scary one. But to be honest, coming into the Bournemouth game, I said Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle. I said Bournemouth would be the most difficult one. I kind of take it back. And Newcastle might be the most difficult one. It might be the most difficult one. A lot of you lot predicting Wolves to win, by the way. I'm seeing 2-0 in the chat to Wolves. I think me and Yo-Yo are the only people that have said so far that we might be able to win. Everyone else is saying a loss. It'll be really interesting. Listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Whatever you lot are up to today, I hope you enjoy. Whatever you lot are eating, I hope you enjoy. Whatever gifts you've given or gifts you've got, I hope you like your gifts. Don't be selfish, guys. If you didn't get a gift that you don't like, still say thank you. What do we have coming throughout the week on the channel? Tomorrow, of course, we'll have 5 and 5 straight after the game. Friday, we will have a video dropping as well. Saturday, live stream. Sunday, live stream. I want to know, guys, by the way, just quickly. I want to do a best and worst of 2024, where we kind of do a tier list. 10 moments in the season, the best to worst. Would you prefer it as a video or as an interactive live stream? Please let me know in the chat, because I've been trying to decide. I'm ready to do it. I got the thumbnail, everything ready to do it. I just want to know, would you prefer me to do my ranking of the best to worst moments throughout the season as a video, and then you can just get involved in the chat, in the comment section, or would you rather me do it as a stream? Let me know. Min, are you still playing Spider-Man? No, I'm going to go back to it. 2025, I have a lot of goals, guys. I have a lot of goals in 2025. One of them is to be more consistent with streaming on Twitch. Minna, where are we with Rashford 20 goals and assists? Where are we? That's a good question, man. I think we're on 9, right? I think we're on 9 all competitions, if I'm not wrong. Let's go have a look. Let's go have a look, because I remember we had a deal. I remember we had a deal. We're on 10. Come on. We're on 10 goals and assists in 24 appearances so far this season. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to hit the 20 mark, because he's probably going to get shipped out before then. He's probably going to get shipped out before then. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. I'll be back tomorrow, obviously, daily dose of Minna before the game. Excuse me, then we'll have 5 in 5 after the game. Have a video out on Friday as well. Of course, we're gonna have daily dose of Minna as well. Then live stream, video. You don't know the rules, man. Listen, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Big up to everyone that sent in super chats throughout the stream. And I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, whatever you guys are up to. Listen, if you are watching Home Alone, Harry Potter, you know, the traditions of the day, I hope you lot enjoy it, man. I'm out. Have a great evening, guys. Peace.